We had Tesla send us all that.
Today is.
We'll get it out of here.
Thank you for recognizing that.
Haven't met Courtney.
That's not an action. No, it's just. That's what it's.
Ah, so we sold it, and she was able to donate. Well, it ended up being so. She gave. And then.
That would be.
And then from the t-shirt. She got a custom one concert. And she's got what, 4 more. Not bad
Then we'll post it later.
So what's the next big thing?
No, if she should try to do Christmas or,
Under reports, so.
definitely do not. But you might put her.
Yes.
Good, he just got a haircut. Now he really looks. It's still obvious.
Or you, and then to me, because I said something. Yeah, okay.
You know, I was not out of my phone for several days.
Okay, so, well, yeah, deal with it. Yes. Yeah,
Isn't that a reason?
It sounds like it was only something. I don't know if they. Sound like.
But there's another one. I'm Sherry. These people are nice. Things up there. It's like-
North
it's like 3 houses down from the playground.
Okay.
On the same side.
Oh.
It's like, you know, there's a big like.
Yeah. Used to be pink.
Yeah, the pink lady, they call it. It's one, just one house. Of that. I'm trying to use that. I'm like, I think everyone in town is saying drugs. I am turning into that person. I'm like, this is Travis. And I'm like.
All right.
Yeah.
Was that?
This is recorded. It's not official. It's not official. Doesn't start for another minute.
So, Robert, so you say you're doing drugs?
I got a closet full of Bombay sapphire.
Yeah, with you.
I go to Rockford.
There's some cool stuff over
I
there.
don't even know what that is. I'm sorry.
We got all the color out. 3/4, but it's cool.
But it's a good, it's not, you're running.
Have you checked it out? There's some cool stuff. Some cool native trees. Huh?
Beanie, that's why we go. We won't start until 6:30.
Your wife or my mother?
Everybody.
All right, it is 6:30. I'd like to call this meeting of the city council to order. Try the microphone, hope it doesn't blow out the service here. And we'll have a note about our technology. Yeah, maybe we won't. Clerk, would you call the roll?
West,
Here.
Bruckner,
Here.
Tickler,
Here.
Cruz,
Here.
Mahaffey,
Here,
Schlegel,
Here.
Sidemont,
Here.
Travell.
Here.
Please stand and say the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Does anyone present intend to record this meeting? Okay.
I do.
Okay, and once again, I know, please identify yourself again. I'm sorry.
Charlene Buell.
Charlie Beaton, okay. And city administrator would like to talk about this technology.
Right. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Real quick for the record, we too are recording this meeting via Zoom. Once again, we're giving this a shot. This is kind of a temporary setup. But we'll see how our wireless internet works for us here and have this available online to our community. So we don't think we're having an issue with mics tonight. I don't really think it's part of the video audio system setup. But so if when you do speak, just speak a little louder because we're getting way too much feedback otherwise. So.
Right. We have one person signed up for public comment, Mr. Bartos.
Good evening, and thank you for the opportunity to speak regarding my concerns about potential changes to the intersection of Route 30 and Genesee Street. Genesee Street intersection is a safe, well-functioning intersection.
So just keeping intact or in with the city administrator Melton's comments, could you please speak up?
My apologies.
Yeah,
Yes,
thank you.
The Genesee Street intersection is a safe, well-functioning intersection that serves the needs of motorists and bicyclists, adult pedestrians, and children who cross Route 30. In recent weeks, at least 126 residents of Morrison have signed a petition and I have circulated an opposition to any design change to the intersection. Some who support removing traffic signals and changing the traffic pattern argue that the intersection is inherently dangerous due to limited lines of sight. Crash data from the Illinois Department of Transportation show that this is not the case. Crossing Route 30 at Genesee is no more dangerous than crossing any number of intersections in downtown Morrison. I obtained intersection crash data from IDOT for report request on August 7th. Data show that only 3 collisions have occurred at the intersection in the past 5 years, between 2018 and 2022. This crash total is lower than figures for Jackson Street, Cherry Street, Madison Street, Orange Street, or Bay Street. Only Heaton Street with 0 reported collisions was safer. The existing traffic system, signal system in Genesee and Route 30 enhances safety at the intersection. Motorists and bicyclists and pedestrians of all ages have safely crossed Route 30 at Genesee for many years. This safe, convenient, well-functioning intersection should be maintained in its present form. Thank you.
Appreciate your prepared remarks. Thank you. Report city officers, department heads, committees. We have, why don't we start with the police department? There was a written report at your desk.
Yes, sir. So we had a pretty busy month this month. August 13th, Officer Brown participated in the Texas Truck event at the Ebenezer Reformed Church. Opportunity to get out and talk to the community and socialize with the kids and let them do an actual squad car and talk to a police officer. On August 14th, Sergeant Singson attended a property evidence training in Rockville, Illinois, to stay current with Illinois law pertaining to evidence handling procedures. On August 14th, SORO Officer Dan Simmons conducted active shooter training for the entire staff of the Morrison School District, which is a very important type of training nowadays. And on August 22nd, I attended a Zoom training related to the Safety Act training with the upcoming changes to the no bail. That's going to become no cash bail for certain crimes in the state of Illinois. And then I also attended a meeting recently with the representative of the flock for the traffic cameras that we're looking to hopefully implement here sometime before the end of the year. And we'll have a little bit more on that later. I'll be talking to that folks about maybe coming and doing a presentation for you.
Can I, is that the same thing that you brought up, Brian? Oh, okay, Okay. Thanks.
August 17th, police chiefs in Whiteside had a meeting. They were at the Crossroads Community Center. They were appreciative of our efforts in law enforcement and promoting safety. So they were very kind in providing a breakfast for all of us, which we appreciated very much. And the Whiteside County Fair, we had another successful year. We ended up with no arrests, no really major crimes or reports of incidents. Even the parking complaints were down. So we're very happy that everything went very well this year at the fair. And then one important note I'd like to make is that Officer Jerry Spencer, I know, reported that he was going to leave us. He had a change of heart and decided to stay with our police department. I think he realized what a great community we have here, which actually he did say that. A lot of people were reaching out to him saying they were going to miss him. He realized I have a good thing going on here, so he decided to stay, which we're very happy to have him. He's a great officer. And other than that, school year began, so we hope to have another safe school year.
All right, thank you. Nathan, you?
Yes, well, I am getting prepared for co-ed kickball league. Hopefully next week, we'll have teams. Fall soccer and flag football. Getting ready for those. And then also I just got my last sponsorship for my signs. So all of my disc golf signs and that are sponsored. We got one sponsor here. So those will be ready to go. We start setting up the getting the signs made, and we'll have those hopefully in a few weeks. So we'll get that set up. I got some flags that go on top of baskets to make them more visible for everybody. And then also I met with Kyle from KT3 Gym to partner with him for some upcoming next year fitness events, a strongman competition, an NFL combine competition that I think we can partner with like different high schools and stuff to compete against each other. And then maybe a possible prospect competition on the complex.
Thank you. We have two treasurers report on the agenda. Do you have anything else to add at this point?
Just that the last one that was pulled, I talked to Shelley, there was an issue with the formula on the Excel program, which is what we had before, which is why that it was a mistake the last time. We should make it correct.
Okay. All right, thank you. And city administrator has a few comments.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Along with my report I sent out to you on Friday, there's a couple other things I want to touch on with you. The first thing is regarding the Route 78 water main program. So we ran into an issue in the contract. They are required to use select fill, which is good gravel, to put in temporary sidewalks. And because of the cost of the project, everything going on with the project, of course, the cost of material for that material went up dramatically. So they're up just past Park Street, and essentially they've used up the quantity, or at least, the quantity and cost for the project for the east side where they're putting the main. So at this time, we're going to see how it goes, but this time we're going to see how it goes and not put in the temporary sidewalk for the remainder of that side. There's still the sidewalk on the other side. We're going to have a conversation with the post office to see if there's an issue with them, but otherwise, public use sidewalk will continue on the west side. If we run into some concerns, or if this council wishes to accept that additional expense into the project, then we can go down that road with a future change order. But we're going to kind of play it by ear a little bit to see if essentially we can get by without the additional cost and putting in a temporary sidewalk that's only going to get tore back out next year. So it essentially be, a cost that's only a temporary fix. So
I think if you discuss this with our group.
No, I mean, it's all within the project. It's just, like any other change order process, if like we've had already, added costs to the project.
I was just thinking, Brian, in terms of, I thought there was some requirement. I thought you were saying that we had to have these sidewalks or.
Well, at the time, to my understanding, it was a requirement, because it was the state right away for the state, so, but we believe and talked to our engineers in past practice with other projects that they've had, we should be,
Because they're going to be letters.
yeah, so. So that's our position at this time. Again, if the council wishes to do something different, and
So what's the time frame from now until you get a real sidewalk?
well, we
For the-
have,
for the
we
ones
don't have an official start date yet for MIDOT, so we do not know that.
So then what's the increase in cost? We know that?
I don't have that specific either.
And there'll still be sidewalk areas on the,
On the other side of the
West side.
street.
because a lot of kids walk.
What's that?
There'll still be sidewalk access on the west side of the street?
Yes, yes, there's
For
still sidewalk
pedestrian
access
traffic?
on the other side of the street.
Okay.
So is any
So
of
that's what
that
we're
fine
gonna-
gravel, is that recoverable at all? Like you said, it's temporary, then why don't we just scoop that up and use it for something else?
I'm not a contractor, so I
You could
can't really
ask.
respond to that. I could get a response from them on that, so.
That way it would soften the cost of doing the whole thing, if you could recover it, use it else.
So we'll kind of watch that one. Couple other comments. Our new website we went quietly live with our new website to kind of work out all the kinks and get a few other things set up. I think we're in pretty good shape right now. I think we will do more marketing to the community here in the next several weeks to ramp that up, and because there's an app with that website that should be pretty functional and pretty good service to our community. And with that, in our website, we built in the community calendar that seemed to be in high demand by several organizations throughout the community. In the next couple days, I will email you where we've established guidelines just for us to manage it from a city hall perspective, a guideline on who, what, when, where, and how you can post to that community calendar. And I will share that with, of course, all of you when we're officially putting that out to the community. But I think, again, that's going to be a nice little feature of the new website. Let's see. We will, as I said in my report, maybe in the next month or two, we will revisit our infrastructure improvement plan. There's a 5-year plan, especially with the water infrastructure, where we're working right now. We're working on phase 3 and 4 of that plan, and also in conjunction with future street projects. We kind of have to look at those together because a couple of the priorities that you've set in the past includes water main infrastructure and street replacement. So we're going to look at those a little more carefully here in the next couple months to see if we want to update that. See if you guys are still in line with what streets you want to do in the near future, and continue to monitor and see how the revenue continues to come in, the 1% sales tax, to continue to support those projects. So that's all I have.
All right, thank you. There are 2 items on the consent agenda: council meeting minutes for August 14th, your pages 1 through 3, and bills payable, your pages 4 through 14. City Administrator Melton had some comments on specific items that may be different from what you usually see on the bills payable, but I think they were pretty pretty self-explanatory. Does anyone want to remove either item from the consent agenda? If not, would somebody move to put the consent agenda for approval? Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any further discussions, questions on the two items of the consent agenda? If not, clerk, would you please call the roll?
West,
Yes.
Brookner,
Yes.
Tickler,
Yes.
Cruz,
Yes.
Mahaffey,
Yes.
Schlegel,
Yes.
Zeidema,
Yes.
Travell.
Yes.
Motion carries.
On your pages, as discussed, 15 and 16, 2 months worth of treasurer's report with a discussion first in an email from the city administrator and then briefly by the treasurer just now as to how these reports work and how one should read them. Is there a motion to approve both treasurer's reports?
So moved. Second.
They're both up for discussion. Is there any discussion on either or both together? Hearing none, clerk, would you call the roll?
West,
Yes.
Brookner,
Yes.
Tickler,
Yes.
Cruz,
Yes.
Mahaffey,
Yes.
Schlegel,
Yes.
Zeidema,
Yes.
Travell.
Yes.
Motion carries.
On your final page of the packet is a request for parade permit. Department of Fund for September 9th, the utility vehicle celebration. For further discussion, I think we would need a motion to put it on the floor in a second, and Chief may have some discussion items as well.
So moved. Second.
All right. Would you like to talk? I will give the chief first moment to talk, and then, of course, Alderman for discussion.
So yeah, I guess one thing I want to consider, so it starts at 9 and goes all the way to like 5 or 6 p.m. It's great.
Maybe back by 4 is more like it.
Okay.
Yeah.
What
It
is-
was more the registration is about 8:30, like between 8 and 8:45, and then we're having a driver's meeting at 8:45, and then we plan to take off, depending on how many people we make. And we won't know until that day, but we're kind of doing, if we had to, we may have to do 2 sections of like, 30 to 50, if there was more than that. Do it in like 15 minutes span in between. That way, there's no traffic issues or whatever, is what we were kind of maybe suggesting, if it comes down to that. But, so we leave it approximately between 9 and 9:15, and then go that direct route out to where the bridge is.
And then from the bridge, I guess, what's the route from the bridge? And where all the stops are, where's?
I don't have all of that exactly. I mean, it's kind of changing as we go. We're trying to find the best and routes through certain areas that were approved. So we don't have an exact plan on it, and we weren't releasing it technically to the public because we didn't want people to just join at random places for safety reasons and for the fundraising part. So we have like bracelets and we're making sure, insurance and all that is checked prior to.
And I emailed one of the people involved in the committee, and made them aware that unfortunately, a lot of these vehicles are illegal on the highway, roadways, public roadways, and even driving on the shoulders is considered part of the roadway, even the part over off on the shoulders is considered state. I know we had a meeting, a lot of the chiefs within Whiteside, and as I understand it, nobody is okay with just having this happen unless they give permission, and as I understand it, none of them have given permission to drive on the roadways there. Because I know we have to have our permit here in the city of Morrison, and so do some others, but they don't just give like a one-day pass. Even then, it's getting from place to place I have concern about, and as do some of the other chiefs.
Yeah, the members on the board have gone to each of these areas and have gotten an okay. I know city council in P-Town allowed it, and the chief was on board and directed us on how to go about where we needed to go and kind of asked where the route that they wanted to go, so I know everybody's been contacted. So at this point, that's,
So I don't know if it's our concern outside of city limits. But that being said, and I might have misunderstood, but if we're doing a police escort to city limits, to me, first of all, we don't need that because it's legal in city limits.
Mhm.
And I get the safety part, but almost, and maybe I'm thinking about this wrong, that's almost an endorsement. It's like you're handing off to we're not under our jurisdiction and we know it's illegal, but we're gonna escort you, well, it's illegal until it's illegal. It almost seems like it's, and if you have all the permissions, you do, Amanda, but if not, and we're just escorting you to do something quote unquote illegal, I don't feel great about that escort, but maybe I'm thinking about it wrong.
And that was a concern I had, because if it's starting in Morrison and something didn't go right or wasn't following the rules. Now, I'm just looking out for the best interest of the city, it's because that's what I'm paid for. So, I just don't want it to happen that way. But the last I knew, and that was during that meeting that we had like a week or so ago, not one chief indicated during that meeting that they were on board with the information, not one city, province, got the city right next to me. So I don't know when that happened, but he changed his mind after the fact. But
and
anyway,
I'm
I'm just putting it
unaware
out
of
there.
who was at the meeting, so I wasn't.
Well, again, I'm just putting it out there. I want you to have your events. I just want it to be fun, of course, but I just also have to do it from all. The biggest thing for me is safety. And that's a big concern for me. So anyway, I just want to put that out there, but I know it's starting in Morrison. And that was a big concern for me as far as if we have a liability for supporting an event that turns out that, I know it's not our jurisdiction, but other places, but if it started in Morrison, could that come back on us?
Doesn't seem like that well of an organized thing to me, and then it's for September 9th, which is almost kind of late to be asking for.
Well, again, what are we supposed to be agreeing to? We're supposed to be agreeing to the parade permit in downtown Morrison,
Just
right?
a parade, yeah.
Right, and I think, I think we should be focusing on that as a council, and I agree that I wouldn't be doing any escorting either. But outside of that is it's not our jurisdiction, so I think we're here to vote on the parade permit request and not necessarily endorse or not endorse anything else.
There's not necessarily a need for an escort. If you want to, that's totally fine. I think more than anything, it was just crossing, which we were planning on going to the light on Genesee. So we would stop and just go track, and we wouldn't be blocking anything there. So it's not a need for an escort at any point unless you feel that there's a need. So it was just more of a parade, just to get from one side of the town to the other side.
Could we, I'm just wondering if, and I don't know how this works, but can we make a motion? But also state explicitly that we're not endorsing any activity that takes place out of city limits because it's past our jurisdiction. Just because, Chief, like you're concerned about liability issues, and I get that, but I'm like, can't we make a motion explicitly?
Well, you can ask whoever moved and approved the motion to amend the motion to say, we're not speaking for activity outside city limits. That would be totally appropriate.
Okay.
So who moved? You can move to amend the motion.
Wes was the first, Ethan was the second.
Okay, so I'd like to amend.
It's your motion.
So I'd
you
like to
move
amend.
to amend it, yes.
I'd like to amend that, that we allow for the parade permit, but we do not offer a police escort to the edge of town, and that we are not endorsing in any matter what happens outside of city limits with us.
Is there a second to the amendment?
I'll second it.
Would you clarify it is utility vehicles that are legal in city limits?
Yes, and so this parade permit is specifically going through downtown, right? But the ATVs are already legal in our city
Right,
limits.
right, but the contingents are, or
Yes.
the participants are utility vehicles.
Right.
I have a question.
Yes, please.
if it's legal in town and they're following all the motorized, rules, why we need a permit?
Parade.
It's a parade.
Well, because some of the,
Is it a
what,
parade?
it's not guaranteed that all participants have registered non-highway vehicles in Morrison. Some of these people may not have permits here, but want to participate in the event. So that's their approach to the event,
Okay.
to allow those, and like four-wheelers, I don't know if four-wheelers are.
No.
Okay, so then never mind that, so.
Okay.
Agree with it, so.
Even though that's what I have. I'm not sure.
So we have a second, right?
Is there any further discussion on the amendment? Thank you for your question. All right, so we should vote on the amendment. We can do that by voice. It is not, there's no money involved. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, we have an amended motion on the table. Is there any further discussion on the motion as amended? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. That being the end of our agenda, a motion to adjourn is in order. Any opposed? No one opposed. I declare adjournment at 6:56.